Hey folks, welcome to FiddleHed Fiddle Lessons. Today we're going to do a fourth lesson on the Orange Blossom Special. We're going to put together the entire A part. Okay, now that you got the basic idea, let's learn how to do it. So if you've made it this far in the series, congratulations, just on your sheer persistence. Hats off to you. And well, we'll just jump right into putting this together. And for each part of each quarter of the A part, what we're going to do is review things you've done already and then put it together. So in the second lesson on the Orange Blossom Special, we did the basic rhythmic pattern, but with more advanced fingering. So I'd like you to, on your own, warm up with that. Really do it until you get into a state of flow in which you're not thinking, you're just playing. Remember to accent the notes on the D string. Almost hear those notes happening on their own. Do it at whatever tempo is easiest for you, some mid-tempo. And then once you're warmed up to that, we're going to do the exercise in which we do those chords, which we learned in the third lesson in the series. So we'll go raise third to the, and then add a D1 drone, D2 drone. All right, and then finally we're going to add those double stops to the basic pattern. And so whenever we move to the D string on the basic pattern, we'll do a double stop instead of a single stop. So we have this. Does that make sense? So basically you just angle your bow a little less to play that as a double stop. So that's the essential step for this lesson. Let's practice it with a play along track from the FiddleHed site. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. So I think you know, if you followed the lesson series this far, you know what's going to happen next. You know exactly what I'm going to say. That we're going to basically do the same thing, but with the other parts of the tune, because it's just that same pattern repeated. Okay. So the second step would be, and I'll just walk you more quickly through the preliminary steps. We do the basic pattern, no double stop. Get it till it flows, and then do the chords, the kind of the single to double stop alternation. See how fast you can do it. All right, and then we put together the whole pattern. Let me do it again. So I forgot to mention this in the first quarter, but remember to alternate between a basic and a variation version. So do this pattern without double stops, and then with. Without. felt like I had a little seizure there. Sometimes happens when you're fiddling. So anyhow, so that's the second quarter, and just the philosophy of it is basic to variation, simple to more complex. Always alternate. Take that lesson from this, apply it to anything you do, any tune. How can you do this more simply? What can you do to challenge yourself? Easy challenge. Okay, so moving on to the next part. As you know, if you followed the series, this is not going to be that hard if you've learned the first two parts well, because the third quarter is just like the first, but it starts on G raised third. Let's do the whole thing. All right, and then the fourth quarter will be like the second, but we'll start on A2 going to the E string. So let's say you get each one of these quarters down and you want to start to put it together. You could just do the whole thing, or you could add a preliminary step of doing like the first half. So I could do, and then start over. So that is actually a pretty good idea, because doing the double stops and the string changing pattern on open E is very difficult. It's more difficult. Maybe for you it's not, but it tends to be, the E string is a lot more sensitive and tends to be shriller sounding for people. So you may want to just really master changing, by doing those first two quarters or the first half separately, then do the second half. So just focus on the second half and then do the entire pattern. So I have play along tracks for each step, each half of the tune, and then the full tune at varying speeds for you to practice. And I want to close this lesson by saying that in the next lesson we'll be doing the B part, which is challenging, but I didn't break it down into a bunch of separate lessons because it's just basically feels like a fiddle tune with some fancy stuff thrown in. I want to close by saying that, you know, there's a lot of different ways that this tune could be taught, and I kind of made one version that I think kind of is representative of a lot of the ways it's been played. But there could even be more advanced lessons than that, which I don't want to touch on just yet unless there's requests from you guys about it. But in a lot of the other versions, you actually do even more challenging double stops in which you do 3 strings. So you would actually be doing a double stop on G and D, and then a double stop on D and A. So it's even more involved, but I figure like we'll get to this point and then we'll see what happens. So cool. Thank you for hanging with me. I hope this is fun. I hope that you'll become a better fiddler for it, but mainly that I hope you have fun. And stay tuned for the 5th and for now final lesson in this series on the Orange Blossom Special. FiddleHed loves you all. Bye. Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the video. Excellent. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.